Man or Woman Overboard. Verses in honor of Master Rennyo Shonen by Gansen John Welch Sensei. If we fall off or abandon the ship of the vow, we will plunge into the deadly dangerous seas of samsara, where bereft of the protection of Amida Dharma, the samsaric ocean of lies will try to kill us and our shinjin or faith in Amida's primal vow. So let us awake now to our perilous position and wretched condition of helpless, unenlightened beings drowning in an endless ocean of suffering. Our weak, pathetic, impotent and feeble self-power cannot rescue us or replace Amida's supreme other power. Cling desperately to Amida's sleeve, and you will no longer grieve. When you grasp Amida's helping hand, that will take you safely and surely to Amida's pure land. We should share Amida's Dharma with all those whose hearts and minds are open to Amida and his grace and salvation. But those whose minds and hearts are closed, it is futile to attempt to persuade them with reason, as they are impervious to wisdom, compassion, and reason. We can say the Nembutsu and entrust their karmic destiny to Amida, whose supreme Dharma will free them from their karmically created ignorance, egotism, and folly. At death, when Amida's unsurpassed other power will free them forever from their endless samsaric incarceration. When we all totally, completely, truly and honestly acknowledge and admit our helplessness, we will say and think each and every day, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you, Amida Buddha. Homage to Amida Buddha. I take refuge in Amida Buddha. The above verses were inspired by the following selected passages from Rennyo Shonen Afumi, Gubansho, the Letters of Master Rennyo. Fascicle 1, 7, a discussion about Yoshizaki. A temple has recently been built on the summit at Yoshizaki, they said. What a remarkably interesting place that is. Everyone knows that followers of the sects, priests and lay people, men and women, flock to the mountain in pilgrimage, particularly from the 7 provinces of Kaga, Etchu, Noto, Echigo, Shinano, Dewa, and Osho. This is extraordinary for the last Dharma age, and does not appear to be insignificant. But we would like to hear in detail how the Nembutsu teaching is presented to each of these followers, and above all, what it means when people say that faith is taught as the most important thing. We too, because we suffer the bodily existence of woman, wretched with the burden of deep and heavy evil karma, wish to aspire for birth by hearing and understanding this faith. When this inquiry was made of the man living on the mountain, he responded, without doing anything in particular, but simply realizing that you are wretched beings burdened with the 10 transgressions, the 5 grave offenses, the 5 obstacles, and the 3 submissions, you must deeply understand that Amida Tathagata is the form for saving such persons. For when there arises the one thought moment of faith in which we entrust ourselves to Amida without any double-mindedness, and realize that Amida saves us, the Tathagata sends forth 84,000 rays of light with which he graciously embraces us. This is what is meant by saying that Amida Tathagata embraces practitioners of the Nembutsu. Embraces and never abandons means receives and does not discard. We say that one whose understanding is in accord with this is a person who has realized faith. Then, beyond this, we must bear in mind that the Nembutsu, Namu Amida Butsu, which we say sleeping or waking, standing or sitting down, is that Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, said by those saved by Amida as an expression of gratitude for Amida's gracious benevolence. When he had carefully related this, the woman and others who were with him replied, there is indeed no way to express our shame over not having entrusted ourselves until now to Amida Tathagata's primal vow, which is so suited to our innate capacities. From now on, we shall steadfastly entrust ourselves to Amida, and believing single-heartedly that our birth has been accomplished by the saving work of the Tathagata, we shall bear in mind that the Nembutsu is, after this, a saying of the name and gratitude for the Buddha's benevolence. There is no way at all to express our thankfulness and awe and having been given this opportunity through inconceivable conditions from the past, and at having heard the incomparable Dharma, now it is time to say farewell. And with this, their eyes brimming with tears, they took their leave. Respectfully, Bunwai 5, 1473, 8.12. Fascicle 1, 15, on the designation of our tradition. Question: how has it come about that there is such a widespread practice of referring to our tradition as the Ikushu? I am puzzled about this. Answer: our tradition's designation as the Ikushu was certainly not determined by our founder. Generally speaking, the reason everyone says this is because we steadfastly, ikoni, rely on Amida Buddha. However, since a passage in the largest sutras teaches steadfast and exclusive mindfulness of the Buddha of immeasurable life, referring to us as the Ikoshu presents no problem when the implication is, be steadfastly mindful of the Buddha of immeasurable life. Our founder, however, did indeed designate this sect as the Jodo Shinshu. Hence, we know that the term Ikoshu did not come from within our sect. Further, others within the Jodo Shu allow the sundry practices. Our master rejected the sundry practices, and it is on the basis that we attain birth in the true and real Shinjitsu, fulfilled land. For this reason, he specifically inserted the character Shin or true. A further question. I understand clearly that long ago the founder designated our tradition as the Jodo Shinshu. However, I would like to hear in detail how it is that in the teaching of our sect, although we are lay people of deep evil karma, burdened with evil acts and grave offences, we are to be born readily in the land of utmost bliss through the reliance on the working of Amida's vow. Answer: the import of our tradition is that when faith is decisively settled, we will unfailingly attain birth in the true and real fulfilled land. And so if you ask what this faith is, the answer is that it is just a matter of relying single-heartedly and without any worry on Amida Tathagata, giving no thought to other Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and entrusting ourselves steadfastly and without any double-mindedness to Amida. This we call settlement of faith. The two characters shinjin are literally read true mind. We say true mind because the practitioner is not saved by his mistaken mind of self-power or jiriki no kokori, but by the right mind of other power given by the Tathagata. Further, we are not saved simply by repeating the name without any understanding of it. Hence, the largest sutra teaches that we hear the name and realize faith and joy. Hearing the name is not hearing the six-character name Na Ma Amida Butsu. Unreflectively, it means that when we meet a good teacher, receive his teachings, and entrust ourselves Namo to the name Namo Amida Butsu, Amida Buddha unfailingly saves us. This is explained in the larger sutra as realizing faith and joy. Consequently, we should understand that Namo Amida Butsu shows how he saves us. After we have come to this realization, we must bear in mind that the name we say, walking, standing, sitting, and lying down, is simply an expression of gratitude for Amida Tathagata's benevolence in saving us. With this, we are to be declared other power Nimbutsu practitioners who have attained faith and will be born in the land of utmost bliss. Respectfully, the compilation and writing of this letter were completed between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. on the second day of the latter part of the 9th month, Bunmai 5, 1473, at the hot springs at Yamanaka, Kaga province. Shonyo, disciple of Shakyamuni, written seal. Fascicle 2, on the point of departure. In the school founded by the Master, faith is placed before all else. If we ask the purpose of that faith, the answer is that it is the point of departure, enabling wretched ordinary beings like ourselves who lack good and do evil to go readily to Amida's pure land. Without attaining faith, we will not be born in the land of utmost bliss, but will fall into the hell of incessant pain, or avicii. If we then ask how to attain that faith, the answer is that, relying deeply on the single Buddha, Amida Tathagata, we give no thought to any of the various good deeds and myriad practices, and, dismissing the inclination to make petitions to the various Buddhas and Bodhisattvas just for this life, and discarding false, erroneous thoughts such as those of self-power, we entrust ourselves single-heartedly and steadfastly, without double-mindedness, to Amida. Without fail, Amida embraces such people with his all-pervading light, and will not abandon them. Once we have attained faith or shin in this way, we should bear in mind that the Nimbutsu we say at all times, sleeping or waking, expresses our gratitude for the benevolence of Amida, who saves us. Those who understand, as explained above, are indeed exemplary of what it is to have attained faith fully according to our tradition. If there are people who say that there is something else over and above this called faith, they are greatly mistaken. We can never accept such a claim. Respectfully, what has been set down in this letter is the right meaning of faith taught by Master Shinran of our tradition. Those who thoroughly understand these points must never discuss anything to do with this faith in the presence of those of other sects and others not of our tradition. Furthermore, we simply do not rely on any of the other Buddhas and Bodhisattvas or on the various kami. We must never belittle them. We must recognize that each and every one of the various kami is indeed included within the virtue of Amida, the one Buddha. Without exception, do not disparage any of the various teachings. By adhering to these points, one will be known as a person who carefully observes our tradition's rules of conduct. Hence the Master said, even if you are called a cow thief, do not act in such a way that you are seen as an aspirant for Buddhahood in the afterlife, or as a good person, or as a follower of the Buddha Dharma. These were his very words. We must practice the Nimbutsu, keeping these points very carefully in mind. Written on the evening of the 12th day, the 12th month of Wunmai 5, 1473.